Today on the DML News podcast, Democrats are going all kind of crazy to try to save an illegal alien gangster. Can't make this stuff up. Yep. Meanwhile, American citizens are saying, where are my Democrats? Why aren't they helping me? Pete Hegseth is in trouble once again, and we are now in a new location. We'll explain why. So get ready. We're back in the saddle today, and we're all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. Sitting next to me is Denny. Ryan kind of switched the visuals. Ryan, I said to open up on me and then go wide. That's what it is. If you just want to show Denny for people who didn't see what he looks like, there he is. And then across from me is Ryan, who's getting scolded. Although I used to be a lot tougher on you, Ryan. I used to raise my voice. Now I'm getting too old. And for those of you who can't see it, I have a Gulf of America t-shirt on today. So let me tell you how the Gulf of America t-shirt came about. So as you know, my wife is kind of stuck in a bad way where she cannot walk or stand on her own. So she's wheelchaired and in a walker. She is making progress. That's a given. And from what we hear, doctors say it could take 6 months. It could take 2 years. We have no idea. She's going to PT, and I work with her pretty much on a daily by daily basis out in the pool, just trying to get her to walk. It's almost like dealing with a stroke victim. And we've been told that 30% of neurology patients never know. They'll never know what caused the neurology issue to surface. And in my wife's case, she was having small balancing problems for a couple months. Nothing totally out of the norm. We just put it sort of to girl issues and hormone changes and everything like that. And then all of a sudden one day, it's like somebody turned the light switch on. We went from, a 2 to a 10 in terms of problematic. So along the way here, we've had to change some things. And that's why you don't see us in the studio we've been in for nearly 2 years. I guess God works in mysterious, cool ways because we only had a 2-year lease. And our landlord sold the building to a guy who is a complete POS. And so although we thought we would make a few years turn into maybe 10 years there's no way we're sticking with this guy. So we have to leave anyway. So with my wife's condition, somebody always needs to be home. I mean, you could leave for 10 minutes, leave her alone, but for prolonged periods of time, you can't do it, especially a couple hours. So we made a decision that we were going to move the podcasting back in to my home office here. So over the weekend and yesterday, Ryan and I rearranged everything here, and we're trying to do the best we possibly can. We know we're having a little bit of a delay and a problem on Facebook. We don't think it's us. We think it's Facebook in general, because when I look at Rumble, we're okay. And when I look at Team DML, we're okay. So with that in mind, we are back here. Now, I go back to the Gulf of America t-shirt. It is incredible what you find when you start doing the laundry. Yeah, I have started to do the laundry, and I have started doing the cleaning around the house. And with that in mind, you start finding incredible things. So I'm digging underneath all the things that Mary has had just laying around forever and ever. And there's a package, and it's addressed to me, and it's never been opened. And I'm like, geez, how long has this been here for? It's like under 4 laundry baskets. I open it up, and it's from a great Team DML member named Shirley Blanchard. And I open it up, it's a Gulf of America t-shirt. So Shirley, I sent a text message to you early today saying, hey, watch the show today. You're going to get a thank you from me. I never even knew you sent me this t-shirt. So there you go. So the good news, the silver lining on Mary's neurology problem that will improve, we're told. The silver lining is that I am now finding things that we've lost for years, and our house has never been cleaner. In fact, tomorrow, for Team DML members, because they'll get a kick out of it, I've shown you pictures of my wife's laundry room before, and now I am going to show you what it looks like today, now that I am taking over. And I have become very proficient in doing dishes and all things domestic. In fact, my daughter Kelly says, Dad, I like the new domestic dad. I get up every morning early, make Kelly a breakfast sandwich. She says, Mommy never did that for me. So I'm basically making my wife extinct. But no, thank you for all your thoughts and prayers. But that's the shirt today, and that's the thank you. That's the message start off, and that's why we're in this new office. So while we get the kinks out over the next couple of days, we just ask you to forgive us and but the content will be the same, even though the location is different. We base this podcast every single day off the 47 Report. Make sure you go right now. 47report.com is the greatest newsletter about all things Trump, the Trump administration, and of course, the resistance to trying to make America great again. We are never short on content. 7 days a week, you will get information from us that you will not get from anywhere else. Go to 47report.com, put in your email address. I never sell it. I never share it. Every single morning, without fail, you will wind up getting the newsletter. It's the best there is. Our open rate is 3 times that of the industry standard. And with that being said, I know this is true, Dennis. There is a very popular website for conservatives to go to, and they have a newsletter. And I was thinking about advertising on that newsletter. And so I reached out and I said, hey, how you doing, Dennis Michael Lynch? You know, they know me. And I said, I'd like to possibly advertise on, your website or a newsletter or whatever. And they came back and said, okay, we have a 20% open rate. 20% open rate for one of the most popular, well-visited conservative websites. We're over 60%. Kind of tells you how popular it is, and people love the 47 Report. By default, you also get the DML Report, which comes in every single day, Monday to Friday, at around 6, 7 o'clock. And, of course, we just started the DML Health newsletter. So we got 3 newsletters coming to you every single day. People love them. This show today is based on the 47 Report. However, my little opening monologue here is going to be something I wrote about in the DML Report. This has nothing to do with Trump, not yet anyway. This has to do with our children. And I thought it would be a really good way to start off the show because I have a lot of people who read the DML news report, the DML Report newsletter, but I have more people listening and sharing the podcast. So I need to tell you this. There was an article yesterday on Fox News, and it was about a new set of problems for kids. And this goes past kids. And whether you're a parent or a grandparent, you need to listen to what I'm about to talk to you. I'd show you the visuals, but the problem I'd have is I think Facebook their AI system would pick it up and they'd shut it down. So this article was about how it is that there's this new app, a new undressing app. And of course, Fox put it into nice light. So I went and started doing my own research on it. And it is frightening. So I did it using my own picture. You can take a photograph of anybody. You could take it of you. You could take it of your kid. You could take it of somebody you don't like. And you go to these apps, and they're really cool. It's a nudity app. And you put the photo up there, and you can pick what kind of filter you want. That filter can be undressing a person. The filter can be showing that person in very promiscuous sort of positions, sexual positions. Let your mind run wild, and that's the sort of thing. So in the Fox News article, it was saying that this is becoming more damaging to kids than actually getting beat up in the schoolyard. Because what's happening, especially with boys are taking girls' pictures, uploading them to these websites, and literally, I mean, I did it to myself. It was incredible. I wish we could toss it up there. Do you have the ability to do that? No, you can't show your screen. I wonder if Dennis's screen would show. Dennis, go to the DMLreport.com. Go on Denny for a second, Ryan. Dennis, turn your computer around and see whether or not we can see. I'm going to show you. So I'll show you a little something. Go to my report from yesterday. Are you on DML report? Go down. Yep, hit that one. Go down. Go down. Right there. See the picture of me? Can you show? Why are you cutting me off? Come on. Point the camera on Dennis. See if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So if you look at Dennis, come to me.
Probably too tough.
Come to me. It's not tough. So there's a picture of me right there. I uploaded that picture of me. That picture of me is from years ago. A friend had T-shirts, and they asked me if I would help sell the T-shirt for them. And I said, of course so. I took that picture right there. I uploaded it, and I said, undress me. and undressed me as a woman. And I'm going to show you what it kicked back. Now, I actually blacked out the nipple, but within seconds, it sent me back a blurry version of this, where I have full breasts. Now, like I said, I took out the nipple, but I was astonished on this. And if you want to pay, that's when you get the crystal clear picture. And I mean, it looks so absolutely real. And that was the undress filter. I could have taken the sexual filter, where I'm with another woman, I'm with a guy, I'm doing positions that I wouldn't even say to you. I mean, just horrible things. And so what's happening is people are taking these photographs, they're uploading it. Imagine your daughter, imagine your son, imagine your wife, imagine you. All of a sudden, pictures of this goes crazy on social media, and people are like, oh my God. I mean, think about the marriages that can be lost. Think about the children who will wind up committing suicide over something like this. Imagine it's going to stay. I mean, the internet never dies. Imagine photographs like that just keep on spreading around. A person's whole life is destroyed. This is what now AI is created. This is the danger of AI. We talk about AI and we're afraid of robots are going to come and start attacking us. Let me tell you, I'm not too afraid of a robot, all right? I've got a pretty big shotgun up there. I'll knock the head off the robot. But I am concerned about the sort of thing where you can't stop the internet from creating a problem for somebody. That kind of thing goes around forever. This is where we're at. So I wanted to alert people of this sort of thing. And here's the problem. I'm telling you about it. I don't even know what you can do about it. I think the biggest thing you have to do, and I wrote this in the DML report yesterday, and I showed those images. I showed of how it is that you can literally, I mean, you go to the website, it's got a young girl on there. I don't know if it's a real girl or not, but it's a photograph of a real girl. It looks real. And then it shows you how she's in a bra and underwear. And then all of a sudden, just instantly, it goes and she's completely naked. And it's not looking photoshopped, nothing. It is so real, so authentic. And I said, in my opinion, one of the things you'd have to do is go up to the school and alert the school to this. And there has to be a no excuse, no second chance policy. If you are engaged in doing something like that, you are gone. You get no chance to explain yourself. You are gone. Now, here's the scarier part of the whole thing. When I tested this thing out, I have what's called a VPN, a virtual private network, on my computer. You could get one too. In fact, you've probably heard the commercials for this, Express VPN or whatever. What happens is you put this on your computer, and when you log in, like I could log in right now, I'm logged in from Germany. So what happens is the IP address gives you as if you're from Germany. You could do it from all over the world. It basically disguises where I'm coming from, because your IP address on your computer is basically the breadcrumb back to you. So the website you visit, everything else like that. So I use a VPN, which gives you a new number each time you go on. It's kind of disguised. I did that, and I used, just because it asks for your email address when you go to this website, I just used some random Gmail address that I never use. And I mean, you could go do that in 10 seconds. And that's it. Now you're on. So, and you want to pay with crypto. It is almost impossible to track back who's doing this to you. This is going to be the new crime that is happening in the world, in America. And I can tell you, nothing's going on as far as I can see to stop this. I mean, there's a new law that came out with Melania Trump went forward with it about how it is that there's something like that. Dennis, right? Do you remember the details on exactly what that was?
Yeah, she's working currently with multiple members of Congress. They're attempting to
pass. It's not a law; it's a bill. Yeah, it's a bill.
They're trying to pass legislation in regards to anyone who shares explicit photos of someone naked or any kind of damaging photo without their consent, that they could face prison as well as pay a certain fine to the victim.
Yeah. Now here's the problem with that, and I like it. Let's get it. I mean, why do you have to even work with that with somebody? Let's just get that passed. I guess what you're getting somebody saying, how do we protect on not taking somebody innocent, right? Because I'm sure the next phase of this is to make it look like somebody did a crime they didn't do, right? So how do you protect yourself against that sort of thing? And it's very, I mean, when we talk about AI destroying society, a lot of people always think about stuff like, some AI gets the nuclear code, some AI gets, a robot's going to come in. Ultimately, that's not the concern. The concern is things like this, where innocent people will have their lives destroyed and innocent people will be held accountable for things they didn't do. Innocent people. I'll tell you who isn't an innocent people. Dennis, do we have an illegal alien somewhere in El Salvador?
Yeah, I was going to say, you would think he's a upstanding citizen.
Wait, he didn't walk on water? We didn't celebrate his rising yesterday?
No.
On Sunday?
I think Democrats are trying to celebrate his possible release, which I don't think will ever happen.
Is it Jesus in El Salvador?
No, it's
not Jesus.
Kilomar Abrazo Garcia. It's kind of a long one.
And is he part of the church? Is he part of the what group is he part of? Does he go out? Is he part of the Red Cross? What part is he of?
I think it's a group with 2 letters and 2 numbers.
What's it? What is it?
I'm going to go with the hard guess of MS-13.
So wait, we have an MS-13 member who was in the United States illegally, and he got deported to El Salvador, to the best prison there is in the world, and Democrats want to get him out.
Yes, because he holds the values of being a wife beater and a wife abuser, because that came out that in 2021 he abused his wife, although she is now vouching for his release at almost every end. But yeah, we now have, I think in total, 4, after this Van Hollen guy who just went,
Senator Van
Hollen. We have 4 Democrats who are now heading to El Salvador to try and vouch for his release. So I'm sure they're totally using their own personal paid money to make that kind of trip. But something maybe tells me it's probably taxpayer funds.
So here we have, I could tell you one of them.
Yeah.
Breaking. Democrat Representative Maxine Dexter says she will not leave El Salvador until Kilmar Abrego Garcia returns to the United States. Think about this for 1 second, Dennis. You've been doing this podcast with me now for years. You've been doing my website with me now, probably going on a decade, right? That's how long it's been since you were in college.
Yeah.
Think about this for a moment. The amount of stories that we've done where in all my films, right? Where an illegal alien has killed, raped, done something horrible to an American citizen. You've never seen Democrats rally around an American citizen in the way they are for Mr. Garcia. They are literally going to El Salvador and saying that they're going to stay there until this MS-13 member, he's accused of it. Trump held up a picture the other day in the White House where he's got MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. When he met with the senator from Maryland, he had his hands underneath the desk, so you can't see his hands. Very convenient doing that. And so all of these things point back to this guy is a part of a terrorist group, was also accused of or thought to be part of a smuggling outfit, human smuggler. And the Democrats are making this guy their Jesus. This is who they're going to go out and save. And you think of all the American citizens, people who have voted for these people, don't get even a phone call. I remember there's a woman named Agnes Gibney. She just texted me the other day regarding your mother. And Ryan, go wide. It's much better when it's wide. So Agnes Gibney lost her son. She lived in California. She was a Democrat at the time. Her son was killed by an illegal alien. Came right up to him, shot him point blank in the face for absolutely no reason. And I don't know if you remember this or not. We interviewed her in a hotel with another mother for They Come to America 4. And I said to her, after your son was shot and killed, did anybody from the state of California call you? A senator, a congressman, a governor? She said, no, nobody at all contacted me. There was another mother who was sitting right next to her. I can't remember her name. Her son was killed, chopped up, burned, roped almost like cattle in Texas by a guy who had overstayed his visa. I asked her, anybody Republican or Democrat, call you, come to the funeral services, anything for your son. She said, not a single one. And yet we've got Democrats jumping on planes, going to try to save this man and bring him back. The only thing that's more insulting on that, Dennis, is what the Supreme Court just did. Explain.
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to bring that up before you say it, right? Because you got January 6ers who are waiting, 3 years to hear their cases, and yet you got the Supreme Court at 1 a.m. on a Saturday making sure that 50, illegal aliens from Venezuela can't be deported right away. It's very disheartening to see Democrats and Republicans fight pretty hard for, I guess, the deportation preventions, as well as trying to protect, quote unquote, the civil liberties of illegal aliens, which they shouldn't be allowed any.
Well, they keep on talking about due process.
Yeah.
Due process. First of all, these people are due nothing. Okay? These people, there is a process to come into this country illegally, and they did not do it. Okay? What they did was they did the wrong thing. They do the wrong thing. Their due process was, let's run past the Border Patrol. Let's get our free tickets somewhere USA, then hide in plain daylight and do whatever crime we want. We don't have to pay taxes. We won't do anything else. And now we're going to get due process. The Supreme Court, in a 7-2 decision, says, yeah, bring all these people back. And oh, by the way, don't let these people be shipped out from Texas. You hold them. These Venezuelans were sent here by Maduro to do dirty work, TDA members, to do bad things here in the United States. And we're freaking having our Supreme Court say, keep them here. They need their due process.
Yeah, I hate to dishearten, but we have a Republican administration, we have a Republican House, we have a Republican Senate, and we have a Republican makeup on the Supreme Court. And yet, why is it that trying to get these deportations done are just such a struggle? And I think it's because that party is just an absolute mess. I mean, say what you want with the Democrats, because they are very just deliberately evil with the fact that they're going to highlight Garcia as this wrongly deported citizen. But one thing you got to give the Democrats credit for is that even when they do these just retarded decisions, they really stick with it and they unify. And yet in the Republicans in all sectors here, you can't even get them to coalesce or come together to really, I don't know, enact Trump's agenda. I mean, the man is basically facing a tidal wave from his own party, whether it's rhinos in Congress or you got, Amy Coney Barrett, who is just a complete disappointment, or even Brett Kavanaugh and Gorsuch, going along with that ruling on Saturday. It's very. I mean, I think we need a third party more now than ever. But it's just a showcase, right? We have everything lined up. The ducks are in a row. Why can't we get them to the pond? Just
We have a video here of Stephen Miller.
Mhm.
He's on Newsmax. And I think he explains how frustrated he is and the White House is, just like us and just like you at home, with this whole thing from the Supreme Court. And I think what he says here is just spot on perfect. Play it.
You have, in this case, illegal aliens from Venezuela sent here by Maduro who are members of a foreign terrorist organization, Tren de Aragua, an organization that the intelligence community has found is operating at the direction of a hostile adversarial foreign regime carrying out criminal enterprises to destabilize the political system in the United States. Those are the facts when it comes to TDA. So they're all illegal, they're all gang members, they're all foreign terrorists. And now we are being told that they cannot be expelled from our country without an extraordinary amount of individualized adjudication at the district court, circuit court, Supreme Court, up and down, up and down, up and down. No American citizen receives this level of so-called due process. Because it isn't due process. This is called infinity process to keep you here forever. Yeah. That's what this is.
Oh no, it's crazy.
No American citizen charged with a crime, with a serious crime inside the United States, a U.S.-born American citizen receives this kind of process. Millions of dollars in free legal services, representation at every single level, Okay, do you think that there is any, for example, any American citizen who was persecuted, who was innocent related to January 6th? Do you think they could just get this kind of relief, this kind of process? No. It was never available to them. Yeah. The whole system was rigged against them, just like it's rigged in favor of illegal alien invaders.
Well, he's spot on correct. And the level of frustration out of the White House is, it's appreciated. I have been doing this, as everybody here who watches me knows, I've been doing this for 15 to 20 years. And I can't tell you how frustrated I am. And I remember after making my second film on immigration, I'm like, I'm not doing this crap anymore. And people said to me, please don't stop. Please don't stop. You can't stop. You can't stop. All right. I did number 3 and I did number 4. And, I had a TV show all to myself on Newsmax. I was on Fox News all the time. And I felt like I was shoveling sand into the ocean. And now, today, I still get things that just shake my head. Today on Fox News, Dennis, on Fox News, one of the biggest stories on foxnews.com, vacation hotspot used as springboard for illegal immigrants, says expert. Okay. Many migrants rely on human smuggling operations from the Bahamas to Florida to illegally enter the United States of America. Yeah. So I did this back in 2019. They come to America 4 opens up with the waterways and us going to the Bahamas and showing how it is that the Bahamas are used as a place for smuggling drugs and smuggling people. That was back in 2019. That film was on Amazon. I've had millions of people watch that thing. Millions of people. Do you know how many people from the White House, Biden, Trump, otherwise, has ever contacted me about that? Zero.
Well, it goes back to that concept. If there's a will, there's a way. And you can tell with the smugglers, and you can tell with even those that the coyotes, right? If they want to find a way and they have the will, it's going to get done. So why can't we have that same concept applied to our judiciary process? To the administration has it, but it seems like they just keep getting blockaded from every corner, and even members in Congress who are kind of posing the issue. And it sounds like there's even almost a little bit of an inner turmoil or a tumultuous inner civil war going on at the Pentagon right now. So I would really like it if we could really just get these people that are in positions of power that were maybe holdovers from previous administrations to find that will, because you can always find a way. I think there is a way to just ignore these freaking courts and enact what the will of the people. I mean, the fact that Trump had to even go the route that he did with the Aliens Enemies Act, it shouldn't even have to have gone that far. There's just a very common consensus here that people voted for Trump because there were 2 issues: the economy and illegal immigration. And if those issues can't be addressed because you got people throwing in the blockades, it's kind of clearly a testament against the will of the people.
Absolutely. Look, I'm just looking at this thing here on Twitter or X, right? El Salvador denied the request of 4 Democrat representatives to see the MS-13 gang member. Just imagine if these representatives put this much energy into fighting for hurricane and fire victims and homeless veterans.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine that for a moment. And here you got the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, made a lot of promises, and he's trying to keep those promises. He's trying to make it all work, whether it is on the economy, whether it is on illegal immigration, whatever it is, the tariffs. He can't get any support. And then on top of not being able to get the support, he's got the freaking courts. I mean, there's not a single human being in the United States of America, unless that person's got earrings in their eyelids and pink hair and all the different crazy things, like, where Steven thinks he's Susan. I'm not talking about those freaks, the 10% freaks. I'm talking about anybody who pays their taxes on the April 15th, who's got children, who has a car, who has home owner's insurance, who has to go through the regular process of everyday living. If you walked up to them today and said, hey, I got 5 members of the most dangerous gang for drugs, killing. I mean, these are cartels, basically, right? I got 5 people that I know. They're in my car right now. I gathered them up. Can I bring them to your house? Do you have extra meatballs and spaghetti to feed these people? Do you got a couple of bucks for them to lend them a couple bucks? People would look at me like I was insane, like insane. And it's maybe some people like, what is wrong with you? Take them to the police station right now. No, I took them to the police station. The police said they don't want them. Do something with them. They've got due process. So I got to find somebody who wants to take these people. There's not a single person in the United States that would even consider taking them in, let alone not run away from me. And yet the biggest, most powerful people in this country, notwithstanding President Trump, are fighting for these people's rights that they don't have. They're not even, these aren't U.S. citizens that committed crimes and somebody's like, hey, you got to give them their due process. These are illegal aliens of the worst kind. And the Democrats are making these people, it's their poster children. What are they thinking about? Are they trying to alienate everybody?
Well, we played that clip last week from CNN where I think it's the highest percentage of Americans at this point in history that are in support for mass deportations. In fact, CNN in that same video clip used the word 11 million, which is just beyond laughable. I think I even said maybe times that by 5. We're sort of dealing with a ballpark number at that point. But it's going to show that this is what most people are aimed for. And you got your small but very loud voices that are trying to say that, this is the Hitler and Nazi regime of what Trump is trying to do because he's sending U.S. citizens to an El Salvador slave labor camp, which the exaggerant words there are just immense. And that is not what's happening. If anything, what we've worked out with El Salvador is to our benefit. Not only are we able to deport these people, but we don't even have to deal with them. It falls under President Bukele's issue now. So I think, that strategy, and I loved when they were using Gitmo. I don't really know where it stands now because I know they had some issues with outfitting the facility to house the illegal aliens, but I love the idea of let's deport them, and those that are actually the worst of the worst, let's send them to these prisons to teach them a lesson.
I think we have a video, Ryan. I mean, it's actually it's sad, but it's actually really funny. Who released this video, Dennis?
It was a bunch of GOP lawmakers.
A bunch of GOP made sort of like a parody video about how it is that the Democrats are in complete support of MS-13 members. Get a load of this. It's funny.
Welcome to El Salvador, home to breathtaking sunsets, world-class surf breaks, and gangbanger Kilmer Abrego Garcia. El Salvador is the destination for Democrats seeking the thrill of bringing violent criminal illegal aliens back to America. Come witness Trump derangement syndrome in its purest form. From Chris Van Hollen to Cory Booker. You may even see John Ossoff. So what are you waiting for, Senate Democrats? Join your colleagues and step into the rhythm of rescue today.
So there we go. We'll leave that whole MS-13. This is what the Democrats are looking to do. I mean, the good news is, Dennis, that every time that Jasmine Crockett or one of these absolute berserk, crazy leftists get up there and champion for these people, I think they push more Democrats to the Republican Party or to vote for Trump or J.D. Vance next time. I mean, J.D. Vance right now is in India trying to get a trade deal cut with India, big trade partner. Definitely can help, right? It's not going to hurt. We've told everybody listening that these trade deals were going to take time. This is not something that happens in a day. But, if we can get these trade deals done and Trump could get the stock market and the economy humming, you take that and you take what's going on with these Democrats trying to protect illegal aliens from MS-13, and we may never lose another election again for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, but I got to go a step further. It's more than just getting Republicans in office. It's getting Republicans in office that have the will to actually solve this issue. I'm just so tired of rhinos, literally the Mitch McConnells, the ones who are basically a wolf in sheep's clothes. So, I'm all for, let's get them elected. But if they're not going to follow through, if this is going to become the subtle, let's fight for the and I'm using the quote marks, the rights of illegal aliens, then we're going to not have a nation. We're just going to be this economic zone where whether it's smuggling in from the Bahamas or coming in from the California coast or coming in from the northern border of Canada or being flown in directly from places like China. You did that whole report not too long ago about the Chinese baby making scheme that's going on here.
The birthing centers.
Yes, the birthing centers. So if we don't have an identity or a real nation, I mean, we can elect whoever, but what happens when they make the 180? I mean, think about, ready? Anyone listening, think about that one person, and I'm sure you can think about it. It could be plenty of people that fit this, who you voted in, whether it was president, congressman, anything, local even, and they made a 180 within weeks. They say one thing on the campaign and they act another way when they're in office. And sometimes that's the influence of money and power, or sometimes it's just maybe they're fed the wrong information. So the good news is with Trump, I mean, like when you have like a Stephen Miller who has been consistent on day one, I would even love to see Stephen Miller kind of maybe escalate a little bit, like in his role and in his advisory in the White House. We need people like that who are going to stick to the hard and to the staunch and not going to bend and make way. Because when you hear the bending and the make way or the softening of rhetoric, you start to realize it doesn't matter who you vote, red or blue. They're going to be in the same pod if their end game is, all right, keep the illegals in.
You just brought up China. There was a report, I think it was yesterday, that there was a property in Oklahoma. People were calling on it, and they suspected that there was drug running coming out of there. So the feds go in, they all go in to do a bust, and they find more than they bargained for. Yes, this was a grow of marijuana. They were doing all the different stuff there, but they wound up finding that one of the leaders was actually Chinese, and he had a Chinese uniform that would be worn by one of the soldiers in the CCP. And it's you're like, how do these people get into our country? How are they operating? And in the news report, it was like they said they're not even trying to cover it up. It's they're like, we'll just operate. They didn't try to do anything to cover it up. We're so lackadaisical as a nation.
Well, I want to read. So Beverly writes here.
What's this, on Facebook?
Yeah. So I guess the administration needs to completely ignore the courts and just plunge through with the agenda. Yes, honestly. I mean, are we not at a point where the country has been seriously invaded, not just with illegal aliens who are taking jobs here, but clearly, when we read the reports, these are some awful, awful people, whether it's MS-13, TDA, or just even people who end up just becoming crazed serial killers. Like, there are awful people. If you're a real nation, your idea is let's get the enemy out. So when you got a judicial system that's like, well, wait a minute, we got to give them their day in court. Well, that's bogus, because they're not supposed to be here in the first place. Shouldn't that be grounds of get them out? So I think we really got to go a route of just starting to ignore the courts.
Dennis, right on Team DML. Junie writes, where were these people for Mark Fogel that was held in Russia for 3 years? Trump brought him back ASAP. The Dems left Mark there to rot.
I was going to say, Trump's been able to bring back a lot of prisoners, both in Russia and elsewhere, that, I guess Biden was too busy doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Here's another person who just wrote from Rumble. Says, a home only functions properly if all adults help, right? So we don't have that right now. And it's a perfect example. Think about this. If your mother was anti-rules and I'm pro-rules, what winds up happening? We leave a very, very confused set of children. They don't know what to follow. There's no plan. There's no rules. And the people at the top are fighting against each other. It's a perfect example. Your house, one of the reasons why we're such a successful family is because your mother and I believe in rules. I'm a little bit tougher on it than she is, but we both set each other up to where we don't set each other up to fail. There have been a number of times, you've heard me say it, a number of times, right? When your mother and I would go back and forth, and she would then start cutting in because she thought I was being too hard. And I pulled her to the side. I said, Mary, if you do that to me, if you show me up in front of these kids They're going to think they could get away with everything. If you think I'm going too hard, tell me privately in the back room, and next time I'll come a little bit softer. But we have to have a unified front, and we always did. We don't have a unified front. There are half the Republican Party, the entire Democrat Party, the Supreme Court, and all the courts are making it sound as if Donald J. Trump is some whacked out, drugged out, stoned person. You know, there was just a report. I can't remember what news station it was on, but there was a report about how drinking alcohol absolutely impacts your mind to the negative. It has a neurological effect that stays with you long term. You can't shake it. Forget about the fact that there's empty calories and that you're doing things to your liver. But from a neurological brain standpoint, you are hurting yourself every single time. These people who criticize Trump, they're probably cocktailing just as much as anybody else. Trump has never drank a drink in his life. The guy is as sharp as they come. And he's using common sense. And yet, this is what we're getting pushed back at. I'll give you another thing. This is totally random. I'm bringing this up out of nowhere. This was on the DML News app, and it drives me crazy that nothing is being done about this. Anthony Fauci, arguably the worst American citizen there is, destroyed this country on lies and BS, destroyed the world, killed, as far as I'm concerned, millions of people with his nonsense rhetoric. Here's a report on the DML News app. Dr. Anthony Fauci's fortune doubled, hitting $15 million between 2019 and the end of 2023 over the course of the pandemic, including during the worst of the draconian COVID lockdowns, according to records obtained by a watchdog group. Fauci's net worth was about $7.6 million in January of 2019, which that alone, you have to say, how the hell did that happen, before COVID-19 even hit. But then it surged, nearly doubling, more than doubling, to $15 million by the end of 2023. There are 141 pages of financial disclosure forms obtained by the watchdog group Open the Books that was revealed. How do you double from 7.6 to $15 million during COVID when you're supposed to be out there trying to save the world instead of killing the world?
No, he was too busy doing magazine photo shoots and countless interviews and even that little self-indulging documentary. I think we'll honestly see some seriousness with getting these people held accountable. If someone that's what I was about to say. I think we would see some seriousness if Fauci was arrested. Until then, I mean, you got Letitia James, and I know that's a little more of a retaliatory aspect. And I know they're trying to go after Governor Cuomo right now, which, you know what, I mean, dutifully so, considering his actions during COVID. But we really need to get some big players here that I think had a very big hand in the responsibility factor of basically destroying this country and even mentally destroying this country. I mean, you don't see it as much anymore, but every once in a while, I still see that person wearing a mask around their face. And I just want to say, like, you don't have to do that. It doesn't work. And if anything, you're actually hurting yourself there. It's one thing if you're in a hospital room. It's another if you're at your local Publix. But, what he did, I mean, right, 6 feet apart rule, what did that really do? Nothing. I just kind of suggested it. So if Fauci really had no big play here in terms of giving anything that was grounded in fact and realism. Instead, he just kind of went with the flow and he made money from it. So what did he get as a result? A lot of people who couldn't see their dying relatives in hospital rooms because of quarantine procedures that were totally overinflated. So it's really baffling that man could just still walk free with no issue. And, kind of like how he said, just screw what the courts are saying. Screw Biden's little pre-pardon that he gave Anthony Fauci. I mean, Fauci should be someone who, by the end of this administration, I'll just say it, he should be in handcuffs, at least in some form of accountability here. But I don't want to be a negative Nelly. I just don't see it happening.
Well, if they were to put as much time into Fauci as they do into Pete Hegseth, I mean, let's wind up here talking about what they're doing to Pete Hegseth, Dennis. Why are they after Pete Hegseth once again?
So it's over Signal chat yet again, but Apparently, Hegseth had another Signal chat that got exposed. It was a 13-person group chat with his wife and brother as members of the chat. But they were basically discussing more. I'm not going to use the media term war plans because it wasn't war plans, but more so just conversational things regarding bombing the Houthis in Yemen. So this is just another attempt. I mean, it's very clear. You can tell who in Trump's cabinet has a big target over their head by the mainstream media. I mean, you don't really see much of a target over someone like Marco Rubio, but clearly Pete Hegseth has been a target because he's an unconventional choice for that role. But Trump did say yesterday that he has no plans of firing or asking Hegseth to resign, which I think is good because one thing that Trump is doing this time around, comparably to his first, is that he's really going with the I don't give an F when it comes to an NPR or NYT, hit piece trying to basically get some of Trump's more favorable picks out of office. Because I'll be honest, I think it'd be a little naive to think that Trump sat there at his desk and picked everyone from his administration based on personal preference. I mean, I think with anyone in a role such as the presidency, you have to make compromise choices like, okay, I picked this one for that. This guy helped me here, so he gets Health and Human Services, in reference to RFK, which, he's trying really hard to try and get our food healthy. But clearly, I think Pete Hegseth was a personal favorite choice of Trump's. I think he saw a lot of potential in Hegseth to be at the DOD. So, of course, because it's a Trump personal favorite and he had the contentious hearing before Congress, they're going to go after him really hard. So I'm glad that he's not resigning. I think it would be a mistake if he did resign because it just kind of gives more ammunition to the left. But, if there is an issue here with Signal, maybe we got to do something else to discuss these details rather than, whatever Signal is. I'm not too familiar with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with Signal. It is supposed to be an encrypted text messaging service at the same time as Pete Hegseth's not making the smartest decisions. So hopefully he's learning his lessons very quickly so he doesn't repeat these messages. I don't think that it is a cause for concern. I don't think Trump should get rid of him. It's what the left wants. At the same time as I hope Trump takes him into an office, closes the door and says, Pete, come on, man. I've been fighting like crazy for you. Stop doing stupid stuff. On top of that, your wife and your brother. Come on, man. Just please, if you're gonna do something and you need me to go to bat, do something that's gonna be worthy of me having to fight for you. So I'm sure Trump has had that little conversation, whether it's directly or indirectly. Hopefully Pete has the message loud and clear. But I go back to the same thing. There's only one guy who's ever walked on water, and he's not serving in the Trump campaign, right? The Trump administration right now. I mean, we're all prone to mistakes, and none of this stuff at all is going to, that he's done, has caused any deaths or any problems. It's just causing the left to have something to scream about. Now, I want to end with something very. Oh, go ahead. You want to say something?
No, yeah, and look, and I think to just keep in mind too, one thing Hegseth has been doing is he's been firing almost en masse leakers from the Pentagon, people who have been kind of very, subversive to the Trump administration. So, I'm glad for that. But to your point, he's got to clean it up a little bit, and we got to see some more action. I mean, I can't really put a guess of when Pam Bondi's going to arrest someone, but I could probably put a guess that she'll have 3 to 4 Fox News appearances this weekend. So, we got to start seeing some action soon.
Just to leave everybody on this, there's we'll talk about this probably tomorrow, but Marjorie Taylor Greene just put up a post. It's a poll on her X account. She writes, some conservative House Republicans are fighting against President Trump's tax campaign promises, right? This is what we're talking about. He can't even get his own team to support him. Will you support, donate, or vote in 2026 for House Republicans if they don't deliver no tax on tips, overtime, and Social Security? 80% of people said no.
I can't blame them.
So
that's why I'm saying midterms are going to be ugly, I think.
Dennis, as of right now, in the midterms, we're getting our ass kicked.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even day 100 of the Trump administration yet. And I'm going to tell you, I already have great fears about what's coming up. Let me just paint the picture before we say goodbye on what happens if we don't win the midterms. First of all, we're having a hard enough time getting the MAGA agenda through right now as it is, because the courts are doing everything they can purposely to delay. See, that's what this is. If people don't understand what this is the equivalent of a football team running out the clock. All right. So the defense here are the Democrats and the Rhino Republicans who don't want to see Trump's Make America Great Again agenda get into law on any level, because executive orders are only as powerful as the piece of paper that they're written on. They could be changed, they could be ripped up, they could be destroyed by the next guy in power. That said, the only way to really make anything that Trump has done or wants to do solid is by creating it into law. Now, when I look at the things that Trump has done so far, there's one that stands out above all others, and that is what has happened at the border. All right? The apprehensions at the border are down 99.9% off the highest month of Biden's presidency. It's insane how well that border right now is tight and locked down. That is going to be a temporary status, because unless we put new immigration enforcements in law, if we don't get rid of the crazy asylum crap that Biden was using, if we don't get rid of these things, the next time a Democrat is in power, it's going to go right back to the way it was under Biden. Now, put that into further context. If the courts and these rhinos can continue to push the, let's say, kick the can down the road, why are they doing this? Because if Trump runs at the midterms, and the midterms start, believe it or not, in January. January is when everybody starts saying, okay, here come the midterms. We got 10 months to the midterms. If we lose the midterms, even just one, if we lose the House, which seems like it would be the greatest chance that we'll lose it. If we lose the House, here's what happens. Trump never gets a single thing into law, ever. Nothing. Zero. He will not accomplish anything that is substantive in terms of ever getting into law. It will be very, very hard for J.D. Vance to run on that and win. So what happens is these bad actors keep on pushing and delaying and delaying and delaying, including the members of the Supreme Court, as disgusting as that sounds and that is. And if we lose the House, what starts day one? Impeachment. They will impeach this president, guaranteed 100%. And then, of course, it won't go anywhere because the Senate will still be a Republican. But if we lost the Senate too, Trump will actually be impeached and he will be removed.
Yeah.
That's how dangerous this is. So whenever you see a Republican who is not getting behind Trump, you make sure you tell that Republican that everybody you know is going to vote against him, and he is going to go down, or she is going to go down as the most despicable member of Congress of all time. And that's what it is that these people have to be told, Dennis.
Well, they are crazy. I mean, they're even giving J.D. Vance a hard time, trying to accuse him that he was responsible for Pope Francis's death. I mean, I've seen some crazy freaking posts and memes about it. No, Pope Francis was dealing with pneumonia for 5 weeks, and he passed, over the weekend. And I know Vance really wanted to meet him, but some people are just like are crazy, and it just shows they're not going to let up, whether it's Trump in office or J.D. Vance in office. They are so dead set on making sure that their weaponized agenda is at full play.
Well, we fought really hard, all of us, to get what we wanted. Trump, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. And we're sitting here and we've got ourselves a full deck. And we're saying, how are we going to lose this hand? That's the crazy part of it all. That's the crazy part of it all. And I think if I'll end on this. I think what Trump has to do, seriously, is he needs to lock himself in a dark room with maybe some of the smartest people that he trusts. And he has to say, what can we do tomorrow immediately to spark this economy? Can we send everybody a $5,000 check with all this Doge money? Can we send people out something? Let's send them something. We got to spark things. And here's the reason why. I understand the tariff strategy. I like the tariff strategy. I'm getting my ass kicked on the stock market. Trust me when I tell you, I'm getting my ass handed to me. My retirement is down 25%, and I start taking that soon. So when I look at this, I'm like, ugh. Now, of course, the person who wants his money to look pretty in a bank statement, I say, oh man, I wish we didn't do this tariff garbage. But long term, I understand, just like the stock market is a long-term play. Long-term, I understand these tariffs will definitely help the United States if we carry through with them. But Trump needs to have something that's immediate because unfortunately, most people don't look out far. They look at the 6 inches in front of their face. So we need something to spark like a light to where people are really excited about our economy.
Maybe Jerome Powell getting fired.
Well, Trump can't fire him. It's not in his power.
I know.
But regardless of the fact, yeah, if interest rates came down, but I'm not even. The basic American person needs to get something, and maybe it's a check. I have no idea if Trump could make that happen quicker or not. I don't know. But if we could get them a check, if Congress would say, or if the Republicans would say, let's get them a check, who would say no to that, right? We get them a check. That may be what we need to keep these people from voting Democrat because they're saying, I'm not getting anything. I had more money. The worst thing in the world is if Trump asked a question right now, do you have more money with me or do you have more money with Biden? I think some people would say either the same or I had more money with Biden. And if you asked me right now, would you have more money with? I say, yeah, my monthly expenses went down a little bit, but not measurable to the point where I could say to Mary, hey, let's go on a vacation. But I can tell you my stocks are down and my investments are down so far that I say to Mary, no, we can't get the roof done. Are you kidding me? I don't have the money. So that's what Trump is fighting against right now. And although the border is secure and that's all great, again, people only see what's in front of their face. So we have to do something to spark this economy really quick. So this way, nobody even thinks about voting Democrat because their money is now full. Their wallet is full. And he needs to get that going sooner than later. That's my 2 cents.
I agree.
All right, that's it for us. DML CBD BOGO ends this Friday. I extended it for people who said, please, can we wait until after the tax season? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. Taxes were last week. So here we go. DML CBD BOGO. Buy one, get one free. If you would like to actually get to sleep again, get rid of that pain and ache that's just killing you. If you'd like to boost your immune system, improve your skin, and of course, get yourself a lot more energy and say goodbye to the anxiety, DML CBD is the Ferrari of CBD. Buy one, get one free is like buying that Ferrari at a Kia price. It ends on this Friday, will not be back until best July. Get in there. If you already bought something and you said, oh, well, I got myself good to June, I'd go back in there and get yourself covered for July and August because our getting out of our warehouse is probably in the next couple of weeks, but getting into our new one for shipping is going to take a lot longer than that. So with that in mind, go do it. And also go to the47report.com, put your email address in. I never sell it, never share it, but we'll give you a newsletter every single day and every single morning, and you will be a happy, happy camper because of that. God willing, we'll be with you again tomorrow. Thanks so much for being with us. And until the next time, may J.D. Vance pay a visit to my mother-in-law. I'm only kidding. I love my mother-in-law. It was a joke, all right? She won't talk to me for the next 15 years.
I will. The memes have been kind of funny.
They're friggin' hysterical.
Yeah.
Until the next time, may God bless you, our troops, our president, vice president, and these United States.
Today's Team DML blessing goes out to Marlene Herbert.
All right, Marlene, sounds good. Run with it. Talk to you soon.
Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and Team DML.